Have you ever felt like the more you try to improve yourself, the worse you feel? You're not alone. This is the paradox of personal growth, and today we're going to talk about it through the story of a guy named Ethan. Meet Ethan. On the surface, he was the poster child for self-improvement. His day started at 5 a.m. with a cold shower, followed by an hour of meditation and journaling. He meticulously tracked every calorie, every workout, and every page of the 100+ self-help books he read each year. He listened to productivity podcasts on his commute and spent his evenings taking online courses to get ahead in his career. Ethan was on a relentless quest to become the best version of himself. He wanted to be more productive, more disciplined, more knowledgeable, more everything. His friends and family admired his dedication. "Ethan's so motivated," they'd say. "He's really going places." And for a while it seemed like they were right. He got a promotion, ran a marathon, and could quote every productivity guru from Tim Ferriss to James Clear. But beneath the surface, something was wrong. Despite all his achievements, Ethan felt a constant, gnawing anxiety. He wasn't happy, he was stressed. Every morning, if he meditated for only 55 minutes instead of the full hour, he'd feel like a failure. A single unplanned cookie at a birthday party would send him into a spiral of guilt. He wasn't enjoying the process of learning. He was just consuming information to tick a box, feeling dumber for all the things he didn't yet know. His relationships started to suffer. He'd turn down invitations to hang out with friends because it didn't fit into his optimized schedule. "Sorry, I can't," he'd say. "I have to finish this book on networking strategies." He was so focused on becoming a better future version of himself that he was completely neglecting the person he was in the present. The joy was gone, replaced by a rigid, unforgiving schedule. Ethan had turned self-improvement into a new form of self-sabotage. He was so busy building a perfect life that he forgot to actually live it. One evening, after a particularly grueling day of forced productivity, Ethan just broke. He was staring at his color-coded calendar, feeling an overwhelming sense of emptiness. He had achieved so much, yet he felt so little. All these goals, all this discipline. What was it all for if it just made him miserable? That night, he skipped his scheduled evening reading and just sat on his couch, doing absolutely nothing, and for the first time in a long time, he felt a tiny spark of peace. Ethan's story is a perfect illustration of the paradox of personal growth. It's when our noble quest for self-betterment turns into a toxic obsession with perfection. It happens when growth becomes a weapon we use against ourselves. So, how does this happen? First, there's the trap of arrival fallacy. This is the belief that once we achieve a certain goal, lose the weight, get the promotion, master the skill, we will finally be happy and fulfilled. Ethan was living in this trap. He was constantly chasing the next milestone, believing happiness was just on the other side. But the finish line kept moving. True fulfillment doesn't come from arriving at a destination, it comes from enjoying the journey. Growth is a process, not a final state. Second is what I call productivity guilt. We live in a culture that glorifies being busy. We're bombarded with messages that if we're not constantly grinding, we're lazy or falling behind. This leads to a state where even rest feels unproductive and stressful. Ethan couldn't enjoy a simple movie night because a voice in his head was telling him he should be doing something more productive. But here's the secret. Rest is not the enemy of productivity. It's a vital part of it. Your brain and body need downtime to recharge, consolidate learning, and foster creativity. The third element is the comparison game. With social media, we see the highlight reels of everyone else's self-improvement journeys. We see their marathon medals, their book stacks, their perfect morning routines. This can make our own efforts feel inadequate. We start measuring our progress against an impossible, curated standard. Instead of being inspired by our own growth, we become discouraged by how far we still have to go compared to others. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person you were yesterday. So how do we pursue growth without falling into this trap? How do we get back to a healthier, more sustainable path? It starts with redefining what self-improvement really means. The first step is to practice self-compassion. This was the biggest lesson for Ethan. He had to learn to be kind to himself. It's okay to miss a workout. It's okay to have a lazy day. It's okay to not be perfect. You are a human being, not a productivity machine. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend. True growth blossoms from a place of self-acceptance, not self-criticism. Next, focus on systems, not just goals. Goals are great for direction, but obsessing over them can lead to the arrival fallacy we talked about. Instead, build healthy, sustainable habits or systems that you actually enjoy. Instead of forcing himself to read a book a day, Ethan started reading for just 20 minutes before bed, choosing books he was genuinely curious about. The pressure was off, and he rediscovered his love for learning. The goal isn't to be a person who reads 100 books a year. It's to be a person who enjoys reading. See the difference? Third, embrace imperfection and flexibility. Life is messy and unpredictable. Your perfectly planned schedule will get disrupted. That's not a failure. That's just life. The true sign of growth isn't rigid adherence to a plan, but the ability to adapt and be flexible. Ethan started scheduling do-nothing time into his calendar. He started saying yes to spontaneous plans with friends. He learned that sometimes the most productive thing you can do for your well-being is to throw the plan out the window and just live. Finally, connect your growth to a deeper why. Why are you trying to improve in the first place? Is it to impress others, or is it to live a more meaningful, connected, and joyful life? When your efforts are aligned with your core values, the journey itself becomes rewarding. Ethan realized he wanted to be more knowledgeable, not to seem smart, but to have more interesting conversations with people. He wanted to be fit, not to have a perfect body, but to have the energy to play with his future kids. His why shifted from external validation to internal fulfillment. The paradox of personal growth teaches us a crucial lesson. The goal of self-improvement shouldn't be to become a flawless, optimized robot. It should be to become a more whole, resilient, and joyful human being. It's about adding to your life, not subtracting from it. It's about progress, not perfection. So if you feel like you're stuck in Ethan's trap, take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Celebrate the small steps. Ditch the guilt and find the joy in the journey. Because real growth isn't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more truly and happily yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. What's one self-improvement trap you've fallen into? Let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content on living a more intentional life. See you in the next one.